Hello everyone, welcome to the Journey with Bayo Speaks, a platform that shares entrepreneurship journey. My name is Adebayo Ademola and I am bringing to you the fourth episode of Women's Corner 2.0. And today, we will be sharing the journey of unusual Esosa, a financial literacy advocate. Stay tuned and get inspired by our journey. Alright, so let's start by getting to know you. Who is unusual Esosa beyond the name?
Who is Esosa beyond the name? So beyond the tag unusual Esosa, I would say Esosa is an introvert. People don't believe that whenever I say that, but then it is what it is. Nobody knows better than myself, so I'm an introvert, and in my line of work that is bringing me out. The kind of life I would rather live is something that I don't have to do so much online. Maybe just make my money, but then I have that my low-key kind of life. Yeah, I really don't want to always have to be out there. But then for the purpose of impact and for the purpose of our calling, I'll say our calling because what I am doing is not just something that I come about by accident or I come to by accident. It's something that I'm doing because this is what I'm meant to be doing. And this is how it's going to impact people. And there are people that are being impacted by what it is that I'm doing. So yeah, so I think I've answered that in not so...
Yeah, nice personality, nice personality. Yeah. So let's talk about, your background, your personal and educational background, right? How is your journey like, when it comes to education and personal background?
Okay, personal background. I grew up in a family of four. Okay, I was the only child for about 11 years before my kid brother was born. My dad was an accountant, my mom was a secretary. And over a period of time, my dad became a pastor. So yeah, that's that about personal. When it comes to educational, I schooled in Ibadan, all through. Primary, secondary, university, Ibadan. The primary school was in preschool around Akinyemi Way. For those who might be reading and knows Ibadan very well, around Akinyemi Way, Ibadan Road. Then my secondary school, I went to two schools for secondary. I went to Queen's School in Ibadan, and I also went to Alayande School of Science also. That's for my SS1 to 3. Then for my university, before I went to a university, I went to Polytechnic first off. I went to the Polytechnic of Ibadan. I went there for 2 years. I had my MD in mass communication there. Then I went to UI. I didn't do direct entry. I started all over again in UI. I studied mass communication and I graduated in 2024. That's last year. Yeah. So presently, let me just talk about my present educational. I got an admission to study my master's, that's my MBA. I get admission into Aston University in the UK. So yeah, that's my updated educational background.
Educational background, all right. Awesome, very impressive. All right. So let's talk about your career journey as well. Can you walk through your career journey of where you started from, the vision, the passion and all that?
So my career path, what I'm doing right now, I don't know if it would be right to say I came about it by accident, or more like I didn't know I had it in me, but the person who saw me knew that I had it in me. So I started into management because right now I'm into proper management, business management, development, and all that 9 yards. When it comes to anything that has to do with helping a company, make more money, scale their revenue, that is my job, and I enjoy it so much. I tell people that I love solving problems. Once a company has a problem and the problem is tied around revenue, I want to be a part of seeing to the end what caused it, how we can move from there, and ensuring that the company gets achieve its goal when it comes to revenue generation. So how did it start? It all started in 2023. Yeah. Then prior to then, I just used to be prior to 2020. I used to just own a small brand online. I used to sell fitness wears, and then early 2021, I added a period care brand to my fitness wear brand. I had two brands. One was a fitness wear brand, and second one was a period care pack. Yeah, period care pack brand. That's for ladies. So late 2020 or end 2022, and at the time also, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth, but I hope you can piece it together. At the time also, I used to influence brands. I used to advertise for small businesses on WhatsApp, just WhatsApp, right? I post for them they do tell me that I know how to caption, I know how to persuade people. So they pay me to post for them and then I run ads for them. So I was doing that really big time while I still had my fitness brand and I had the period care brand. So 2022, somebody texted me and said he got find out from somebody who told him that I was very good at talking about products and he owned a real estate company and he wanted me to come and sell for them. At the time I was like, no, I'm not interested. I didn't even know why I just told you that. I just thought, no. Okay, yeah, I remember. I turned it down because I felt like at the time the product I was pushing were like 10,000, 20,000, 5,000. There's more businesses on WhatsApp now. And then the least land that they had at the time was about, I think, 300 or 450k. I think 450k, I think so, if I'm not mistaken. So I felt like, no, I can't do it. Though. Like, there's a difference between me pushing things of a couple of thousands and then now coming to multiple thousands. So it was more from a place of fear. I was like, who will buy this on my WhatsApp? Who even has the money to buy this on my WhatsApp? So after I told him that, he persisted. He did not back down. Then I started making my find. I started asking those that I know that were into real estate. How did you make your first sale? And this, because I was just really scared. And I talked to like 2 people and they told me, this is how they do it. I should just try it. It's not a big deal. So after a while, I gave the man that texted me, I said, I'm going to sell for you. And then I posted the flyer. Within a week of posting the flyer, I made my first sale. And the funny thing, the person that actually bought that property, I would never, if they had told me that send the DM to those that you know can buy this property, I would never have gone to a DM. I would never have believed that she had 450,000 to pay for a land. She was like a friend of a friend, right? So when she texted, she was like, Esosa, because it is you, are you sure? Can you assure me? I was like, yes, now I can assure you that there's no problem. She paid 400 first and then she paid 50,000. The commission then was, I think, 10% of that amount. I was shocked. It blew my mind. I was like, oh wow, so I can do it. That was in 2022. I was like, so I can sell this 450k land. And I said, let's continue. And how did they say it? From there on out, it was just upward. Within a couple of months, I was topping the scale of the top realtors in that company. Then in 2023, something happened with that company. I was not a staff. I was just selling their properties like a partner or realtor. No, let me say an agent of some sort, right? So in 2023, I was now looking for another company to partner with because something happened with that company. And then 2 or 3 people recommended where I work right now. They were like, if you're looking for who to partner with again, we know that you don't like selling for multiple companies, go to this company. So when I heard the name of that company from like 2 or 3 months, I was like, okay, let me go to this company. So I texted the CEO of the company. I told him, this is me. I gave him my history. This is me. I used to sell for this. I've sold this. I just gave him a rundown because I'm trying to know that I know what I'm doing, right? He was like, okay. And I said, we're about to open a new project in Ibadan and I'll be coming to Ibadan the next day. That was set tomorrow. And I would like to see you so that we can go and check out the new project together. I was like, fantastic. So he came to Ibadan. We went to the new project. I filmed the video that same day. And again, I'm an introvert. But when it comes to doing my job, things that put food on my table, I'll put on a different personality that if you now get to know me inside, you'll be like, why is Esosa so quiet? That's my I'm naturally quiet because of the job. I have to be like out there. So I did my stuff. I did the video. I guess it was like, oh wow, this lady has a lot of potential. So he traveled back to Lagos. I started pushing their property. And then a few days later, he called me on a call with his co-founder. And they told me that they wanted to open an Ibadan branch. And they would like me to head the branch. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So at the time, one thing about me again, I like to seize opportunities. So even though at that time, I was completely new to that space, I still felt like it's a good opportunity for me. I was in 200 going to 300 level at that time, I think, or 300 level if I'm not mistaken also. So I felt like as a student, if I have this, and I said, okay, let's discuss your salary. It now started from, I think, 100k. I was, honestly, if they had said we'll give you only 100k at the time, I promise you I would have jumped on it. Can you hear me clearly, please? I hope I'm not talking so much.
No, you're on point.
Okay, all right, thank you. So if they had told me that my salary was 100k at the time, I would call my parents and say, I got a 100k job. I was a student. Yes, I was influencing, but with influencing and people selling of land, there's no salary. It just comes and goes, right? You make sale, you earn money. This is like a standard, like comes every month. I was like, 100k. I was like, no. I don't know what made me say no. And they kept on raising it. My first salary was over 200,000. No experience. No. No experience. I was a student. Trust me, when they said you're going to be the business manager, I didn't know. Okay, but that was business and sales manager. I didn't know anything. I don't want to use the word shit, but I didn't know anything. And when we now arrived at my salary, I just felt like, okay. I said, all right, no problem. When I will start saying, okay, let's get a place. And I said, okay, no problem. Like, I'll go get pictures of places that we can rent and send to you. When I dropped off that call, I screamed. I hope my boss does not listen, does not read this, because they were thinking then that, oh, like I was earning so much money, so I mean they needed to keep pushing my salary high. But I promise you, if it was half of what I was earning, if it was half of what we decided on that they gave me, I would have still been so happy. So I guess I negotiated myself better, and I didn't put myself, I didn't give myself away. Yeah, that's the word, that I could earn a little just because I just felt, okay, let me just keep pushing. Right. So I screamed after the call ended. I called my mom, I called my dad. I was like, I got a job. Oh, this is my salary. They were like, are you kidding me? Over 200K. How come? I said, I don't know. And I'll be earning commission also, of course, 50% of everything that I was selling. I was like, I even heard the Ibadan branch, and they were like, wow. They were all just so shocked. So I got the property, and yeah, the rest they say is history. That's 2023 till now. I've been here for like 2 years plus, and I've grown so much. So upon taking the job and getting into the system, that was when I discovered that yes, I liked this thing. I didn't know the name, right? I just really love. If you look at my history, I post for people. I was particular about them making sales. So, and whenever I post, my caption are always very persuasive. So I was doing everything that has to do with sales and business development and all of that, but it was not at scale, right? So getting into where I work now, then I started doing it at scale. I started learning more. I took courses. I went to Lagos Business School for a course. I took online course, and now I know that everything happened by accident, but God was just orchestrating my path, because this is where I should be. This is the way I should go. So yeah, that's how I entered into this entire career journey.
All right, sounds so interesting, right? So I'm going to ask you a question right now, which is not really documented in the interview section questions, right?
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to talk about the failing part right now, because that's the win part of how you should get started. Now, if you had failed at the first time you handed the project, what else would you have gone to, or what career would you have ventured into?
You mean feel that being a business manager at Land Republic?
Yeah.
You know what? I can't think of it in that sense, because so this was not something that I was doing part time. Even like a one project thing, I was a star. So I'm sure that I've had failures. I mean, failure means that we didn't meet it. We didn't meet targets. Failure means that I'm telling my boss that, oh, I want to try to enter the B2B space, and then if I'm not able to close any B2B clients, that's a failure. So I think it's more of, because I'm a staff here, each time I meet like a roadblock, I look for ways to make it happen. Now, I think I will answer it in this way. If, let's say, when I got to know everything that so entailed, right, I felt like, oh my God, this is not for me. I felt I'm always drained, I always dread going to work the next day. If that was the space in which I was, I would have maybe resigned. Right. So, but I knew that even though I still have things that there are months that we don't meet our targets, there are months that's failure, and I'm the person in charge of that. So that's still failure. But because I know that I love what I'm doing, I will always just look for, okay, what can I do to ensure that this next month is better? So if I did not enjoy what I'm doing, albeit the so many rejections and failures I've faced, I will have dropped off here, maybe go back to my influencing full time, or maybe find something else. I don't know. I mean, because it didn't happen, I really don't know what I would have done. But because being here, I not only enjoy what I'm doing here, I find it very interesting, right? So I'm still here regardless. I don't know if I've answered that question the way you phrased it.
Yeah, you covered it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Let's talk about your brand, Off Sales HQ. Okay. How did it begin?
So for Off Sales is not really a thing right now. When I say not really a thing, you check me out on you see that I'm not really branded, but then we have clients. That's the funny thing. So how did Off start? Like what I'm doing in LR is basically what Off is about. So I work in the real estate space, solving this problem, and I know that I love when it comes to my profits problem or revenue problem. I want to see the end of it. So I thought to myself, you love doing this way more than what you do in Land Republic. So how can you still offer this solution to businesses? Then I came about having an agency, a sales and business development agency. So that was how Upsales HQ came to be. So I've not really branded it because, of course, I have a 9 to 5. I still have a personal brand, which is already having a lot of expressions. I do events, I go for speaking events, I post content, but I don't post myself. I have people that do that, but basically I sit down to talk about these things. So these things are a lot already on my table. And I know that if I really want to tend to upsales, I don't want to just start letting people put things out, like my staff put things out, but I cannot oversee it as much as I want to. That's why we have no particular content presence online. But on the ground, there are people that already know that Esosa is excellent at this, and they are working with me. I'm working with a startup real estate company right now with Upsales HQ. I'm also working with a printing brand also with Upsales HQ. So yeah, so that's how it just began. I launched it on my birthday last year. That's July 8th last year. And yeah, we've just been pulling it in bits and bits. I know I'll properly brand it soon. I mean, I'll go all out. But for now, with my schedule, I'm not able to go all out on it online. But underground, I'm doing jobs. I'm working with businesses based on Upsales HQ solution.
All right. We look forward to it. We look forward to, what it's going to bring. And, we can't wait to experience, upsales in the industry too as well. Yeah. So let's talk about, most times we talk about financial stability, right? So let's talk about how did you start your career in financial literacy and how did you become an advocate?
Okay. Remember that I mentioned that I got to know about real estate in 2023. That was when my personal finance career started. My personal finance advocacy, I won't call it a career. My personal finance advocacy started. Personal finance, financial literacy, yeah. You are advocating for all of that. How to manage your money, right? What to invest in part time, how to ensure that what you earn is not spent so much on your wants, right? How to build wealth from what you presently earn and even increase your earning over a period of time. That's everything I talk about around personal finance and financial literacy. So it started after I got to know about real estate in 2023. That's when it started. So the more I got to know about real estate, I was like, oh my God, I wish my parents knew this. If my mom knew, when my mom was earning so much money when she was working at Interpark, that was one old company in Ibadan, then they used to make a lot of money. She would have bought the land. So when I got to know, I spoke to her, she was like, if I had known Esosa, you know how many lands I would have owned. So people had the money, but they did not have the knowledge. So I began to talk about it, especially for young people. Because young people, our greatest asset is time. So when you have time, there's so much that you can do. So the way somebody in their 40s will invest, not the way somebody in their mid-20s will invest. So the more time you have, the better you can do it. You can build wealth because you can take a chance. You can take risk on things that have like a 5-year ROI plan, to boom really big. But somebody who is like way older has like a shorter amount of time to take risk because they're thinking of, if I want to retire at 50, what will I have had? But imagine you starting in your mid-20s. So when I got to have this knowledge in 2023, and I knew that, oh my God, Esosa, the way you were in the dark, even though you were making money from influencing, there was a lot of things that you're making money from, but you didn't even know about investing. I bought my first land in the same 2023 after I got to know about that knowledge. So that was how I started. That's what inspired me to say, Esosa, you must talk more about this. More people must hear about this. More young people must hear about it. And I'm so happy and fulfilled because on my WhatsApp, right, I call them my community. I've been able to help over 100 young people become landowners, multiple landowners, even people that got to know about these things because I talked about them, because I spoke about it. So it's been like 2 years now, and it's looking like it's been longer than that. But honestly, it's just been 2 years. It just goes to show that the knowledge can change almost anything for you. Once you are literate in something that you did not know about before, it can cause a 360 change in your life. So yes, that's what inspired me.
Awesome. All right. So you made mention of that you can see a little bit late, right? So let's talk about success, right? So what does success mean to you?
Success. To me, success means that I not only am comfortable, it means I'm very, very wealthy in terms of resources, right? To be able to even help other people. When I say help other people, it doesn't necessarily mean giving them money. It means that I can empower them to also become each successes themselves, whatever success means to them, because success means different things to different people. But my own definition of success, the way I would think myself successful, is when, of course, I have bunch of assets that cut across different industries. I'm an investor in businesses, right? I have created things that would ensure that in my generation we keep passing wealth to the next generation. One thing I did not inherit from my parents is generational wealth. And each time I read up on stories of will I call them nepo babies now, like people say, I'm like, this is because somebody's father, right, made a decision to do different from what the other people that came before them did. And that's my definition of success. My children don't have to like suffer or go through what I went through. They can make money at home and still learn how to make that money, more money for the next generation coming. So that's what success means to me.
All right, awesome. All right, so let's talk about financial, empowerment. Now, how do you simplify financial concepts for people who may find it intimidating or overwhelming?
Well, I have different content on that on my financial talks page, but let's make it very simple right now. If you are feeling very overwhelmed about finance, just take it slow, right? First thing first, just know that you need to have savings. We all do that, or we did that. I mean, growing up, we had colo, or you give your money to keep for you. Money that's your money might not give you again, but basically you knew that if you saved money somewhere, you can pick the money back when you need it for something, and then the money saves you, right? So now that you know that one, now the next thing you need to think of when it comes to financial planning is you budgeting. Right? Budgeting. What are my needs? What are my wants? Your needs are the things that you cannot do without. Transportation, food. Now, when I say food, I didn't say cravings. There might be a section of your budget for that, but you should not spend all your money so much on everything that you crave. So transportation, food, data, right? Those are your things that you cannot do without. They are your needs. And your wants are things that you can do without. Things like, you want to buy 5 new dresses. You want to buy that wig. So, but you need to budget according to your income, right? To ensure that you're not spending more than you are earning. So people have already spent the next 2 months of their salary when the salary has not even come. And because of this, they are stuck in something called the rat race. Rat race means that you keep working and working, and you're not even seeing a place where you can say, if you stop working for a month, you could literally die, right? Because nothing is going to help you survive if you are not working actively. So that's what the rat race is in, and that's a place that you should not be caught in. Because what if anything happens? So ensure that the way in which you're working, as you are saving, you are budgeting in a way that you are taking care of your needs. You might have a section of budget for your wants, but there should also be a section in which you put into something called emergency savings. So that's like you accumulating like 6 months of your living expenses. So if in a month, for your needs to be taken care of in a month, you spend like 200,000. That's for transportation, data, maybe utility, food. Let's say you spend 200K. So you saving up 6 months of that to be 1.2 million. But of course, we're in Nigeria, factor in inflation. So it means if you can have that amount saved in a place, even if your job is frustrating you, you don't have to stick at that job, because even if you quit that job, you can survive on your emergency savings. That's how you plan better, right? That's how you get to plan when it comes to finances. So normal savings, then budgeting, then have your emergency savings. Now, when you now have all of those, then you still now have like extra money, right? That you know that you don't have to spend every single time. Now I'm beginning to think of what investments can this money go into, and you can start as small as possible. There's a lot to unpack here. I don't want to be talking about everything, but basically that's how you plan. And if after reading it, you're like, if I save money, if I budget, nothing is left of my salary. You know what that means? That is the call for you to increase how much you earn. So if you feel like you still cannot increase how much you earn, then it means that you need to increase what you know, because the more knowledge you have, then your income will not be cut. I tell people every time, they're like, Esosa, if you leave Land Republic, I'm like, my mom even asked me, she was like, Esosa, if you leave LR, maybe by chance, what are you going to do? I say, Mom, there are a lot of things I can do. I'm so knowledgeable to the point that I know I can never look for a job. Whether another company is employing me or maybe I'm even self-employed, I know what to do to make money part-time. And how is this possible? Because of what I know. So I will never be left in the lurch because maybe I leave a company, or maybe I'm fired. That is an example. I'm not saying if I'm fired, I'm not going to have that issue, because I have so much knowledge. I can make money in different. I can bring like 5 different income sources just to make money. But right now, the things that are limiting me right now, because I don't have a lot of time. If not, there are so many things I know I can do to make money from the things that I already know. So if you cannot activate higher income in your place of work, it means you need to know more. Because when you know more, you become invaluable. And when you're invaluable, your bosses want to renegotiate with you how much you should be earning. So look at me now. I was still a student at the time. I didn't even know what I even had. But I started earning, my first salary was over 200k. Imagine how much I'm earning right now. So that's and because I kept improving myself. So that's just how life is. The more you know, the more you earn, and the more you can also command to be paid. And then if they're not paying you what you want, I mean, you can resign, because now you're hot cake. You can go elsewhere, show your value, and you can get paid the value of what you are bringing to the table, or even more than that. So I hope I've simplified it as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very educative. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, so let's talk about startups, right? We know so many startups talks about poor financing, lack of finance and other things. Now, so what are some challenges you feel like startup face when it comes to financial planning? What are the critical early stage money mistakes they do avoid or to avoid?
Okay. So I'll be answering this from defining startup as anything that is just starting up is a startup, right? It does not. So some people think that when they hear startups, they are thinking tech company. It doesn't have to be in tech. Any company that is just starting up, right? We can call them a startup. So now, what are the mistakes that they make when it comes to poor financial planning? The first thing that I've noticed from the brands that I've worked with, right, and even working with right now, is that they think first on profitability. Oh no, they think first on let us be the one that the clients will come to, or the customers will come to, and not from a place of how do we ensure that this company even stays, or this company still exists after the first year. Then there's this data, I don't remember how they phrase it, but most companies collapse in their first year, and then more collapse, I think, within their first 5 years or something. So if you survive a particular, maybe like 5-year mark, it means you are doing something good. But oftentimes, businesses, they think first of, let's just bring our price down so that we'll be the cheapest in the market, so that people can come to us. That's a very poor financial planning, right? And another one is that not getting an accountant from the get-go. With Upsales HQ now, I have a client that I'm talking to, or I'm working with right now at Upsales HQ. And then when we're trying to price their product, he was already saying, okay, let's just that this is the cost price. Then let's just say cost price minus this to bring out the selling price. I was like, no. I said, no. I said, well, I'm here as a consultant to advise you if you take my advice. But at the end of the day, I'm your back-end consultant. I'm not the face of the brand, right? But I'm telling you that you don't do mathematics like that. Get an accountant. Factor in everything, even the ones that you're not even seeing. A good accountant will help you factor in the things that you're not even seeing. With my personal brand now, I got an accountant recently that was telling me that, Esosa, you should have been paying taxes. Even if you're not making a social amount of money, but you should factor this in, so that when you start making that amount of money and you have to pay tax, they will not tell you that, the taxes that you did not pay before, you have to start paying them. There's just a whole, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but basically, I'm just saying the need for you to get an accountant. Don't want to cut. There's some things that you don't cut cost on when it comes to you starting your business. You can even cut cost on, you can even cut cost on marketing. Honestly, when it comes to some foundational things like getting an accountant, getting a proper business development person, right, that can also help with your sales process, getting some very core people that are your starter ops. Don't joke with that. So when it comes to financial planning, I've mentioned the first thing is trying to be the cheapest in the market, because the thing that will bring people, no, that's a lie. It has failed many times. Then not getting an accountant. These are the two early on money mistakes that I've seen that startup brands make.
All right. So what I know you've spoken about the 3 financial habits and all that. You've spoken about a lot of financial habits, but let's talk about the important ones here right now for entrepreneurs. So what are the top 3 financial habits you believe every aspiring entrepreneur should cultivate from their day one?
Dear aspiring entrepreneur, your money is not the business money, or the business money is not your money. That's the first one that you need to know. So what habits can you cultivate on that? Have another account, even if you're not a registered business yet, so you can open a business account. Still have another account. You could be carrying your name, but know that this is where your business money goes into. Or there are even brands now that even allow that, even though you're not registered. I think VFD allowed that. Even Piggy, Pocket by Piggy also. So you can just have the accounts carry your business name, so that you can, from the get-go, separate the monies. So how do you now make money for yourself when you see that? That will bring me to second habit. When when if the business money is not your money, how do you now get personal money? What you do is after you have made a sale, right? Remove all it cost you to buy that product again. Do your mathematics well, basically, and then have a percentage that you pay back, that you pay yourself from that money that you have made. So it means that you should be priced in a way that you're not just selling and buying the goods back. You can have a percentage that comes to your pocket. There are those that might say that they don't pay themselves. Well, it means that they have other income means. But if you don't have any other income means and that particular business is what pays you, please pay yourself so that you don't be dipping money in your business money. And this now brings to the third financial habit. Live below your means. Because if you are paying yourself it means that there's a particular amount of money that comes into your pocket. If you're not going to start spending more than that amount that you pay yourself, at some point you have to touch your business money, which is very, very disastrous to your business. You can slow your growth by 5 years backwards just because you keep touching your business money. I was talking about this from experience. I've owned a fitness brand, I've owned a period care brand, I've done importation to sell bags and shoes and stuff. So I can tell you that the reason why some businesses do not scale is because the owner of the business keeps touching their business money. So the top 3 habits is what? The first one I said, you do what? You ensure that you have a different account for your business money. Your business money is not your money. Second one is that ensure that you pay yourself. Make it an habit. You have to pay yourself. So if you feel like, after I've sold, the money that is enough cannot buy goods and pay me, it means you're not pricing yourself right. Price right, please. And then the third thing that you need to do, excuse me, is that you live below your means. So these top 3 things will save you a ton of trouble, dear aspiring entrepreneur. Yeah.
All right. So, can you share a success story, where financial literacy support directly contributed to a business or to a business growth or a turnaround?
Yeah, I can. Let me share this most recent one. So I have this brand I used to work with. She's into cake and pastries. And at a point, she was trying to sell a class. A class was about 200,000. And people buying the class. They're not, training, let me call it training, right? And she came to me like, Esosa, hey, they're not paying for this training, no. I'm like, okay, what have you done? So I asked her to list out everything, how she has been pushing for the training and all of that, and she did. And then she was like, should I reduce my price? I said, no. I said, this is not a price thing. First tell me what you have done, how have you been communicating it? My knowledge of financial literacy has made me know that people that will pay for what you're selling at the price which you're selling, they exist. What you just need to do is to ensure that you are communicating it well, right? In the way in which is to attract those people. 1, you are showing enough social proof. 2, you are also by yourself showing that you have been there and done that. Like, are you making that money? Imagine I'm paying you 200K for a class. How much are you making in a month? Also, people want to know that if I'm paying you 200K, what can I possibly get from you that is training me? So I have to tell her to tailor all her content around that. There's no time. I cannot be going into nitty-gritty, but basically I helped her tailor it without reducing price. I told her to add urgency. Again, I said don't reduce price, right? I told her all your previous students, let them do videos. Let them even do videos to the point of how much they have made since they joined your class. So this, by the time she was done doing all of this, she had like a sequence of posts that went out. When she closed the training, she said, Esosa, thank you. She did not reduce price for once, and she thinks she had over 6 or 7 students. That's about like 1.4 million thereabouts. So yeah, that's like the most recent one I can remember. That's me helping her, right? Based on what I know about financial literacy and sales too, honestly, and business development. Everything just merged together. It contributed to her business growth and turnaround. And now she knows that she does not have to reduce her price to sell. It's just how she gets to do it, and to just do some things right, and some other things will follow. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. So let's talk about the challenging parts of advocating for financial literacy. Right. So I was listening to a radio station whereby someone, was talking about land empowerment and all that. And someone called in and said, what about those people who are earning less and other things like that, and they try to get some properties or something like that, and they're being scammed and all that. But to you, right, what are some financial challenges you faced when you are looking for financial challenges, and how do you make people believe that whatever you're saying is true?
So, when it comes to the whole financial landscape in Nigeria. Real estate is like a whole different thing. Right? The industry has a whole lot of what's that word? Propaganda around it, right? There's a whole lot to unpack on that. But for my own self, one thing that I do is that the fact that you come to me to say, Esosa, I want to invest, does not mean I'll just tell you instantly, buy land. So, in as much as I work in a real estate company and I know how valuable an investment land is, I still know so much about finance or financial. I'm more financially literate to know that that might not be your first step, especially if you can't even afford to pay for that land in 6 months, or if that money that you're using to buy the land is not something that you are making consistently. Because oftentimes these people tend to end up saying, after 2 months, can I sell that land that I bought? Nah, it's a lot of stress. So what may I do first off? I think I've built a brand that is already believable, so you can never think of me as a scam. Aside my company's brand, I have a very strong personal brand for myself. So that has also helped when I get to talk about anything finance to people. People even come to meet me and ask me, what do you advise? So I've built that brand and I'm still building the brand, to get to a point in which I can even advise wealthy Nigerians, the 1% of the 1%. That's the kind of place I'm aiming to be, right? To be able to advise global wealthy people on what to invest in, to manage their portfolios. I think I have to do investment banking for that, but my MBA is a great start anyways. So basically, that has helped me to reduce the entire scam thing that others might hear a lot, right? And another thing again, like I said, I get to know about you. I break down things. How much did you earn, right? How did you get this money? Would this be your first investment? If you tell me land, is the land that you want to buy, okay, would this be your first land? How much do you have? How much can you put together in 6 months? So from all the questions I ask you out, I will know whether to tell you, okay, you can go ahead and buy this land, or I think I need to start with maybe shares first, or maybe do FGM bonds first. So yeah, my knowledge, my personal brand has helped me create that kind of space in which I don't have to talk a lot to people about scam or try to say, no, I'm not scam. No, I don't have to go into that convo a lot. Then I help them to make better decisions because I'm more knowledgeable. So as much as I'm a realtor or I sell properties, I won't just always choke properties or try to put properties down your throat just because I sell properties. When you talk to me, right, I break down everything that you and I will know clearly if presently you should be buying properties or you should be investing in some assets first, then make money or maybe increase how much you earn before you now buy properties. So I don't know if I've answered that question.
Yeah, you are. Thank you so much. All right, so let's talk about how you stayed grounded, in your tough time. What are some of your motivations? When, you feel like it is tough, the period, you have some slow period and all that. So what motivated you? How do you stay grounded?
So this is how I see myself whenever I do anything. I'm a steward, right? So I'm a Christian. Let me say that as background. I'm a Christian. And one thing I know is that me being on this earth, my life is not mine. My gift is not mine. The things that I know how to do, my abilities, my capabilities, they're not mine. God has put it in my hands. And He didn't put it in my hands by accident. He put it in my hands so that I can do stuff with it. I don't know if you're a Christian, but even as a Christian here reading this, the story of the talents. The person who uses 5 talents to make it 10, the person who uses 4, I think, is it 2 to make it 4? And then the one that was given 1 that went to hide it. What happened? The master took the one from the one that hid it and gave it to the one that used his 5 talents. And that just goes to show how God is or how life is. See, the more you do and use what you have been given, you'll be giving more. That's why some people that you see that they are expressing in every form in which they know how to do stuff, right? You feel like, oh, this person is actually so fantastic. They are so, what's that word? They're just very, very brilliant at what they do. You see them doing more stuff because the more you use what you are given, the more it multiplies. So how do I see myself when it comes to motivation? I'm a steward. So it means I need to steward my resources, my gifts. And my master will not come and hear story. And again, I know that the more I use the things that I have in my hands, the better it is that I get to do stuff. The more I'm blessed with more unction to do more stuff. So when times are tough, I rest. Then I go back, I pray, God, what do I do? This is really happening. I'm in sales. It's a pressure industry. It's a pressure career I'm in. this is a career in which there's no part in which you can get to relax. Month over month, you'll be met with more surprises. So it's always tough. Even in our country now, in Nigeria now, it's even tougher because of the old propaganda around the real estate companies, right? So but because I know that this thing I'm doing, yes, I enjoy it. Two, I am blessed and graced and gifted for it. So I know that I just need to keep going and I will find its way. And I also look back. I'm not thing that keeps me moving. I look back at where I'm coming from in 2020, in 2023, and I look at myself now. There's a huge difference. So I know that the what's it called? My ease, right? EASE. My ease is not in waiting and wallowing in tough times. My ease is in me keeping it moving. So I keep going regardless. I keep going. Even when it looks like, oh, I'm like my Instagram page now, for the longest time, it looks like we're just building, it's not really gaining traction. But of recent time, I've been seeing that, okay, things are harding up. We are getting approached. People are coming to us with brand deals. A travel company reach out, and I have less than 3,000 followers at the moment. So it means that all these things that look like nothing was happening, eventually, the more you keep on, you see that everything is compounding for something big to happen. That's just how life is. Yeah.
Yeah, for something big to happen. All right, let's talk about spirituality a little bit, since you have actually dragged us there right now. All right, so when it comes to, let's talk about spirituality and business, right? When it comes to businesses, you guys see a lot of people, being successful. They are successful in their businesses, and you see a lot of people saying, "Please, God so for us, God so for us." It is right. So how does spirituality actually fuel businesses?
Okay, let me start this way, because some people be like, is Dangote spiritual? But he's not successful. Or let me say, is he a Christian? Because it might be spiritual in his regard, depending on his religion. But one thing I would like everybody that is within this to know is that there are some laws of life that are constant. What I mean is that as long as you keep doing and you keep being very optimistic. Now, the world calls it optimism. In Christianship or Christendom, we call it faith, right? And you keep being optimistic or you have strong faith. The Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. You have not seen it, but you believe that it's going to happen, right? One thing about life is conspired to bring those things. That's why you see that some people are not Christians, but things are just moving in their life. One, check them. They have great work ethic. Like, they are crazy about, if I do the work, my life will be better. And they have high optimism. All right. So that will definitely work well for them. Now, when you are not a spiritual person, aside all that happening to you, the extra that you have, things like anxiety, things like depression, you will not have them. So the world can have, somebody in the world can have that success, right, and keep moving. But somehow he always has anxiety. Maybe he's even taking drugs for depression. A lot of things are just happening. But as a person of faith, I'm talking from my experience now. The extra that you have is that you have peace. And another thing is that you have more clarity. Somebody else in the world might just say that, oh, I want to achieve this, I'm working at it. But he's not even sure if he should be doing that. So he's quite confused. Should I really be doing this? Should I continue? But if you're a person of faith, where you are like spiritual in faith as a Christian, you have way more clarity because you have the Holy Spirit. So those Holy Spirit will keep giving you peace. You know that, oh, if you are going this path and you feel peace, or perhaps maybe you hear God clearly, you know that this is the path you have to work on. So it saves you a lot of trouble of trying to double guess. And then that part of peace that comes, that peace that surpasses all understanding, that just comes to those who are just children of God. It's a whole different space. So you're like in a blessed, functioning space. Yes, chasing everything that you want to chase. But this is a space in which you are thriving at. You have so much peace even in the journey, right? You have so much clarity. Even when there are storms, you just know that this is what you should be doing. And your Father in heaven has got you. So spirituality is very important. And I'm talking about Christian spirituality because, like I said, I am a Christian. So it's very important. Nothing in the world will give you as much peace as God. Nothing. So in as much as you will say you can be successful outside God, it's fine. But you see that the peace, you can't get it. The clear, can I use the word clear clarity? Just to emphasize it. It's a God thing. Yeah. So I think that answers the question. I hope it did.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about, your experience, right? In your experience, so what's the difference between growing a business and just staying busy in business?
Okay. People in this present day and age, I was talking to my boss yesterday, and he was saying, Esosa, that in a few years, my boss, that's the co-founder of Land Republic, he's presently having his MBA, he's in New York. So we're talking about how people's attitude to work. Like a task that should take like if a few hours. Some people will say, I will get back to you in 3 days. And this is because people like to procrastinate a lot and compound work. So it was just hearing his displeasure over some people that we're working with, and he was saying, I don't know how you would say this. He said, Esosa, I said in a couple of years, what will really save people with the way AI is going now is those that really have capital. I would explain what he means by that. So he was telling me how in a company where he's doing his internship right now, the company wanted to employ about I think maybe 20 or 15 more staff, but they had to alter that. Why? He said because they were able to create an AI that was able to do what those 15 staff would have done, 15 members of staff would have done. But when he was going deeper, he was telling me stories about some people who, like, they are top guys in different companies. But now that AI is now beginning to do a chunk of what they can do, those guys are now like running helter-skelter, trying to pick up more AI skills, not the ChatGPT kind of AI skills, like deep AI skills, right? That will ensure that they are like indispensable. He was telling me how Google just sacked a bunch of staffs because AI now does what they are doing. So it was not explaining that all people that will not take this. He said one saving grace that we have is that in Nigeria, the world goes faster than, and Nigeria catches up like litter. So people that are in Nigeria that are like quite lazy when it comes to picking up the slack on doing job when they should be done, they might still have a saving grace maybe till Nigeria catches up to the pace of the world. But it just goes to show that a lot of people are just staying busy, right? I had to tell all that story just to come back to this. People are just staying busy or claiming busy over actually doing the work. And this is because people just, normal human. Lila Omozi, that's Alex Omozi's wife. She was like in one of our videos. She said, "Our brain is not wired to make us succeed. Our brain is wired to make us survive." So that's why if your brain knows that you have like that 20K chilling in your account, and maybe you are fine for like 2 or 3 days, you might not be pressed to go all out or go hard, right? But if your brain knows that you don't have shingba in your account, you'll be so frantic. So because most of these people, they are quite in that comfortable space when somebody is taking care of them, so they're not having that having to be frantic in them to get things done. And that's what most people are doing when it comes to their businesses. They're just doing the bare minimum as if sales is entry. So they're just staying busy rather than doing the real work, rather than completing a task that could be done in a couple of hours. They are taking days to complete it. So if these people could listen to this, could read this and know that there's a difference between staying busy and growing your business, they will know that their business could have done 3x or even more of what it is doing right now if they just stopped staying busy but actually doing the work to grow their business and doing it fast. Money loves speed. So if you're executing anything, execute it fast. Don't take something that you could have done in a few hours and take days to do it because you still have money to get by. That's how most people are configured, right? And that's how our brain is also configured. So you need to let your brain know that, I know that I might be comfortable right now, but if I want the success and I want it so bad, I need to wire my brain to be highly successful. And how does that happen? You do things with speed. It's not just staying busy. You do things that should be done part-time and do it very fast. So I know I said a lot, but I hope that's communicated it.
Yeah, just covered actually. Yeah, thanks. So let's talk about your leadership style. What's your leadership style?
Man, I go in between. I could be a transformational leader, I could be motivational leader. It just depends on what is needed part time. So I think most times I'm more of transformational, right? I can get people to do stuff, but my life also get them to listen and do what needs to be done part time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if money could speak, what would it have told you in your early years as a professional entrepreneur?
Money will have told me that, Esosa, why did you not read that book? What was this book? What am I forgetting of the book now? Oh, shit. I'm trying to remember. A very popular book that has to do with money like this.
What's it?
The richest man in Babylon.
In Babylon, okay.
Yeah. So if money could speak, money will have told you that. Esosa, you knew this book way before 2020, even before 2023, like way before. Why didn't you read it and read it well? Because you will have started your journey way earlier, maybe in your early 20s. But I began when I was like 24, so that's like in my almost mid 20s. So yeah. That's what money will have told me if he could speak.
Okay. All right. So do you have a favorite quote?
Do I have a favorite quote? I think I like that part that says keep going. I just like to hear keep going. Then another one that I can't quote it verbatim, but it just talks about how you might not see the work now. You might not see how your efforts is adding up now, but the moment you keep doing it, it keeps compounding, and anything that compounds will multiply very well. And this cuts across life and even investing, right? You have 20K, you keep buying shares. In 5 years, you will have seen that your 20K maybe every month would have compounded into millions. So it's just the same thing. It's not about the intensity, it's about consistency. Are you showing up every day or maybe every 3-4 days at that point? And then look back a year, you will see how much of a difference your 3-4 days of consistency has made. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if you're not working, what do you do? How do you relax?
I sleep, or I like to see movies on my not even cinema. I like to see movies on my phone, and oftentimes as I'm seeing movies on my phone or my laptop, I sleep off. So basically, that's my own way of unwinding. Another way I think I've picked up is traveling, but I've not had time to do that a lot. But the times I've been able to like, just get away, I do enjoy it a lot. So yeah.
All right. All right. So what's next for you, right? As an advocate, are there any big projects, books, or community that you are willing to build in future?
Yeah, so yes. I mean, for this year, though, I held an event this year that's ECY's 3.0. Esosa's community at sale. I'm going to hold another one next year, but before next year, I have a series of events coming. I have events for teenagers. It's called a Catch Them Young Boot Camp. It's for teenagers around personal finance. Because imagine that me, I knew earlier too. I know how many properties, how many shares, how many things I will have put my money in right now. So I want to be able to help people who are even still in secondary school. Let them start young, especially now that the world has grown to a point where somebody in secondary school is even earning more than some people that have graduated because of how much they're able to access opportunities, and especially if they are gifted and their parents have helped them not only identify the gift but help them really harness it and use it, right? So they're already making money. So let them start knowing how to make it, how to invest it and multiply it in time. By the time they are way older, they're not even thinking about a life of poverty, and the world could be a better place if more people had money, right? And they knew early how to go about building that wealth. So I'm having that in the pipeline. Another event I'm having for this year, by God's grace, if God gives us that strength and financial strength too, is called MSc before BSc. And this is also almost like the boot camp for teenagers, but this one is just for me reaching out to those in university that before you get your BSc, how about to be a master of money first? So master of money before your whatever degree you want to earn in the university. So I have those two in the works right now. So those are like the big things that I'm presently working on for this year, right? Any other thing that God leads us to work on. So yeah, basically that.
Nice. Sounds so interesting. Can't wait to to see how it unfolds.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're welcome. So let's talk about some of your recognitions, right? So what are some of your recognitions?
Okay, let me check the awards that are beside me. Okay, so I was the sales person of the year in 2023 for Land Republic. Then I've been recognized that this one is from a department in UI. It's high up on my shelf. I can't read what is there. Then I also got an award of appreciation from the Association of Business Students, Unilag, right? I also got another one. This is from Sociology Department in UI. And I was also recognized in 2022 by Tech Cabal. Right? I think I'm one of the, forgotten what it was. And then in 2023, top 5 ladies in University of Ibadan, making waves, right? I also got that recognition. There's a bunch of them. Maybe I've sent like pictures or something if you need to add that to the publication. But yeah, basically there's a bunch of them.
All right, that was massive. Yeah, so let me say congratulations to in advance to as well, because I believe there are other recognitions that you're still going to get. Right? Yeah, so let's talk about one thing about financial literacy. So if you could change one thing about financial literacy, what would it be?
When you say one thing about financial literacy, what do you mean? You mean one thing I did when I became financially literate?
Yeah, no, like one thing that you would change, that people don't really know, but you would like to, change, maybe changing their mentality or their perspective about, financial literacy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one comes to mind. So when people begin to get exposed to investing, they want to just move from okay now, I can spare this particular amount every month. What can I invest in? And what can I invest in comes from them thinking if I invest in this, then I'm expecting an ROI of this in this short time. So what I wish that could be changed is maybe people get to know that investment is not just something that you put money in and then expect if the return is unbelievable, then it's not an investment, it's Ponzi, right? Another thing again that I would like to change, even when you have money to start investing, put together your emergency savings first. That should be the first step before you now begin to invest. Your emergency savings first before it saves you a lot of things. That's the thing that helps, that when you now start investing, you're not thinking of liquidating your investments because an urgent need came up. So your emergency savings will save you when there's an urgent need, just because you have put it together first. And second thing I said, investments, see it as something that compounds. Especially if you are young, stop being in such a hurry to want to make ROI back. Have active and passive investment. Active are the ones that pay you now, things like FGM bonds, things like treasury bills. The returns come back to you like every quarter or every 6 months, So you can be using those ones for active. Then also have passive ones. Those passive ones are the ones that go into your future. Because as you're actually spending money now, you should remember that future is coming. That time that you feel like I want to retire, your active cash cannot keep saving you. You need to have something that is passive, that is compounding to give you a soft landing when you are older. So those two things, very important.
Yeah, very, very important. Sure. All right. So, let's talk about advice, right? So, can you give an advice to an aspiring entrepreneurs who want to follow your lead?
So, I like to call myself an intrapreneur. Intrapreneur means like people that solve problems within organizations. That's intrapreneur. I like to call myself that. So it's not the one that has to do with starting my own business. It means I'm working in already existing businesses to solve problems. So this is the advice I will give, right? That will cut across entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship, or whatever it is that you do. Just know that when you are doing anything, the moment you are thinking of how do I ensure that this thing works, the more you speak to the question of how do I ensure that this thing works, answers the question. So it's just that we don't sit long enough with the problem to get an answer. That's why we want to jump to the next thing. But the moment you sit long enough with the problem, the moment you chew on it long enough, you will get answers. So that your business might not be growing because you've not sat in long enough with the problem. I'm not saying worrying about it. I'm saying sitting long enough with the problem to find a solution. You are making research, you are asking questions because you want to find a solution, not that you are worrying and saying, oh, what do I do? And then you say, maybe I should just stop this business. No. As an entrepreneur in companies, one thing that you will constantly have is problems. This month is good, the next month is bad. What is the problem? What happened? What do you do differently? And the moment sometimes we even try to iterate some things, it's still not working as it should. But we stick to the problem still, because we know that once we're not able to find a solution that works, that's like an extra award under your belt, because now you gain experience on what did not work and now you have the solution to work. And guess what? You get to be paid more money. So same thing with an entrepreneur. The moment you are able to make something work in your business, it means it's more money for you. You're able to unlock more income because now you've gone past that roadblock to surpass it and find a solution. And now you have unlocked more income streams for yourself. So you understand what I'm saying? So yes, basically that's the advice I will give. Sit long enough with the problem, not to worry about it, but to find a solution for it. Because the more you sit with it and chew on it, you will find a solution.
Yeah, I believe they will be guided by what you just said, and they will learn from it too as well. Let's talk about this finally, right? So if your brand could speak, what story would it tell about you, and what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
I will have said which of my brands. Maybe I should ask which of my brands, my personal brand, my career brand.
Let's talk about your personal brand, Upsales HQ.
That's actually my business brand. My personal brand is unusual Esosa. So do you want us to use Upsales unusual Esosa?
All right, let's use unusual Esosa because that's the popular name.
Yeah. Okay. If you could speak, what will you say about me? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
I think it will say that, Esosa, you're very daring to want to walk this path and own it, because not many people want to go the route in which you're going with the kind of content you're putting out, but you're always particular about, okay, what can I pass on to somebody based on what I know? How can I help someone's life get better based on what I've gone through and based on what is happening in our lives? And how can I communicate that in a way that they understand that you don't have to diminish who you are. You don't have to curb or try to make yourself small, right? You don't even have to conform to the world. That's another thing. You don't have to conform to the world to get everything that you want to get or to achieve a level of success. You can be who you are. You can be in every form of your authenticity and make that success that you want to make and make that name for yourself. It might be slow, but it will happen.
Yes, so we've come to the end of today's episode of Women's Corner 2.0. We hope you've learned from our shared experience, right? So as you all know, Women's Corner magazine is also out, and you can also get your copy too as well and get motivated, start small and grow big, right? And if you also want to share your story, you can reach out to us via our email. Like, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay safe.